This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Samantha Janes. I'm a local artist and hairstylist of 17 years.
And
What else could I possibly tell you? I think that's it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Of course.
Coming up to Waco building. Go ahead and let me know your Waco journey. What brought you Waco, or are you Waco native?
Well, technically, no. I came here when I was 3. My parents moved here from Torrance, California.
Okay.
And I think they were there for 10 years and popped me out around year 7 and then decided they were done with California and wanted to move back home to Waco.
Good.
So been here for the last 32-ish years.
Wow.
I moved to Austin for a year to go to cosmetology school, which was delightful. But then moved back because rent and
All the things.
life, and I don't think I could handle the traffic.
That does seem like a lot.
Yeah, but I've pretty much been here ever since. I spent my 20s not doing much of anything, just very career-oriented, and
that.
it wasn't until the last 3 to 5 years where I started exploring downtown and getting to know people, and so it's like a new city to me, even though I've been here the majority of my life.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing art? What kind of inspired you to start doing that?
I've always liked working with my hands. My mom taught me to sew. She would, anytime we went to one of my stepdad's bowling tournaments,
Yep.
she would have this whole kit of art supplies for me to play with. So
I love that.
I've always liked doing stuff with my hands, but it wasn't until maybe around 30 I started to feel like something was missing from my life, and like my career wasn't quite fulfilling me in all of the ways I needed. So I stumbled upon medical illustration, which sounded just like a dream. But I decided I'd better like drawing if I'm going to pursue this master's degree, because what a waste of time if
Yeah.
I get that far and I'm like, I hate this. So I have this book at home from Barnes & Noble, like any how to draw book, and I started going through the exercises and just got better and better. And then, I took a stray drawing class at MCC. My mom signed us up for a watercolor class online, so I started learning to paint that way and have just kind of taken off with it.
I love that. And so we are here to talk about your big show opening this
Yeah.
weekend. So tell me all about it.
Yeah, okay, so it's called Sugar and Violence. It's opening Friday, 6
Whoop,
to 9. Woo! And it's very much about my feelings and my experience with my family, processing emotions that I've repressed for the better part of my life, but have started kind of acknowledging, and art has been a helpful way to express those feelings and move past them. So, yeah.
I love that. And you have a beautiful collection. So
Thank
I think it
you.
really all came together. And tell me some of your favorite pieces, or
Okay, yeah.
what you're excited for.
Yeah, okay, so I like the dead animal pieces the best, I think.
Woo, dead animals. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
There's one called Fresh Meat, and it's a pig man, and he's holding a pig carcass. I really like that one. It started, a lot of the work that I do, I don't know why I'm making it. I'm really drawn to a subject, but then as I'm creating it, I kind of realize, I'm thinking a lot about death, or like it's wild that we go from existing and feeling and thinking and being able to communicate and express our thoughts to just like, you're gone.
Yeah.
And nobody can like ask you. You can't give any feedback on that experience. You're just no idea, you're gone. So for me, this pig holding this other pig, and they're in 2 different states, but they're the same. It's kind of, I don't know, about that. And then I have another piece called "I Wish We Could Have Been Friends," and it's I actually took a photo of a dead rat in my home, and it happens. I have this little cute family of rats who live under my sink and under my dishwasher, and everywhere in my kitchen where they don't belong, and they've destroyed the dishwasher.
Oh,
and
no.
we've got an exterminator working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, not in the most humane way, which was disappointing. But every once in a while, they've gotten really bold, so they'll scurry out from under the dishwasher and take dog food, and I'll turn and be like, "Hey, like,
What are you doing over there?
What? No,
You're not my
there are
pet."
2 dogs right here, and if they weren't so aloof, you'd be gone."
I know,
but
that's someone. Like, nothing phases
if
them.
my cat wasn't 17, she would have already destroyed you.
And then a person walks across our yard and they start barking. But I'm like, oh, you don't do anything about there's like a wasp in the house? Nothing. They don't care.
Nothing.
I'm like, wow. What are
No.
you good for?
Right, but they're so cute, and I've thought so many times, if we could just have a conversation
Yeah.
and work out the terms of our coexistence.
Yeah.
Say, I don't mind that you're here. I'll even give you food. Hang out in this part of the house. Maybe like go outside to go to the bathroom. I don't know. But don't destroy the wires under my dishwasher, please. I need that. But unfortunately, we can't have those conversations, and
Yeah.
I can't have a destroyed home. So
We can't be friends.
yeah, but in another world,
I
in
love
another
that.
life, it would be
Cinderella
delightful.
story.
Yeah, yeah.
Little Gus Gus.
Womp womp.
Well, I love that. So, explain to me like the story behind your show. I know this isn't what you originally pitched, and so
Yeah.
I want to know what that process has been like from like conception to development to
Mhm.
having the final product up on the walls.
Yeah, so it started when I was laying in bed, and I had this amazing idea that I was going to produce a show inspired by the microbiota that exist within us and our relationship with them, and how we don't communicate in a way that we're knowledgeable of, but they may not require us as much as we require them, but we need them to
Yeah.
exist. And then to think about how much more bacteria there is in our body than there are cells. So like, how much of us are we?
Yeah.
And how much of us are like are other entities
Yeah.
that just it's wild. It's an interesting concept to me, and so I was gonna go with something like that because I was just blown away by the idea of it. I thought it would make some fun art, and then time passed. My dad died. My dog died. I had this kind of silly existential crisis and was just so uninspired by that idea that I loved. And so for many more months, I thought, okay, well, I still have to do that show.
Yeah.
So
And then I messaged you and said, hey, no.
it's like, okay, this is the show I pitched. This is the show I'm going to do. And then it wasn't until maybe 4 to 6 months before the show, less than that I was like, hey, Debbie,
This is a different idea.
here's I don't know. I don't remember when I had that epiphany that like I could just tell her.
Yeah.
Like I could
Just
tell her
tell
that
me.
that's not going to be the thing anymore. So, but yeah, had some good friends along the way
I
who
love
have been
that.
helpful and getting me to make things and encouraging me
Yes.
to do things in areas that I'm interested in. So
I love that.
it's been good.
And the figure drawing team, shout out Chris and Sean. Love you guys.
Chris and Sean. They're
Youth
my
heart.
favorites. Yes. And some I don't know. I don't want to.
We just talk about how we feel old, so.
But they are delightful. I just saw
Yeah.
them last night at figure drawing. Chris's cousin
Yeah.
was in, and she was a
Aw.
beautiful model for drawing. She had these great proportions, and yeah, it's so much fun.
I love that. So as someone who likes to draw people or anatomy or biology, what is that kind of like versus like someone who is more like paint flowers or I paint sunsets?
Yeah, I feel unqualified. Like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be rendering the things that I'm rendering because I don't know how technically.
Yeah.
I just look at it and then I draw or paint what I see. And then when that's not right, I change it until it's more like what I see. But really at the core, I've never taken an anatomy course. I couldn't tell you about how the human body functions. I've taken biology, so on a very microscopic scale, I could tell you some things.
Yeah.
But when it gets to bigger systems, muscles, like skeletal structures, I don't know. I just enjoy it, and that's I'm a part-time biology major, so
I
very
love
part-time.
that.
So yeah, I feel unqualified, but it's what I enjoy, so I just kind of push through that.
I love that. That's absolutely beautiful. And I think that really speaks to your work as well as a whole. I think it's, I mean, I know it's maybe darker things, but it's still beautiful in itself.
Thank you.
What do you think inspires you the most to keep going and keep doing your art?
Comes in spurts for sure. I feel like it's the way that I process my feelings, and it's the way I achieve this kind of a flow state that I don't get from doing anything else, where time passes. I feel the rush of dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin and all of those happy chemicals that, want to feel happy. I think that's why I do it, is I want to feel happy.
I love that. And I know you are, in fact, a professional. So what is some advice you would give to anybody wanting to follow their dreams, even if it's not artistically? What would you say? What's some advice?
Yes, from the angsty, drug-addled Conor Oberst of Bright Eyes, I would say, from his song Lime Tree, there will never be a time more opportune. You don't ever feel ready necessarily, or like you've become qualified to do the thing you want to do. I went to cosmetology school, one of the best ones I could find. I graduated, felt like I had no idea what I was doing, but you just have to go through the motions.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the better you get, and that's all there is. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I feel that. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way too.
Yeah.
Again, being professional, even though you kind of have that dissonance and kind of have that feeling, you're like,
Right.
what am I doing?
I'd love to meet someone who doesn't feel that way. I might know
if you're
one
out there,
person,
let us know.
but they're,
Yeah. If they're like that, then there's probably something else
exactly.
wrong.
There's a lot wrong.
But it's absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited about this. So tell me kind of what are some of your goals? I know we're halfway through the year. You have your show coming up. What are you looking forward to most about the rest of the year of 2024?
Oh, gosh. That's a great question. I've been taking it a day at a time recently, and the show has really been my whole focus. I'm a little bit nervous that when the show is in action and I'm not trying to build to it anymore, I'm going to have this stark realization that I don't have a thing.
Then we just got to play in the next one.
Yeah. So put me on the books for a year or two from now.
Okay, perfect.
But I just picked up a book on animation today. 'Cause
Ooh.
it sounds a lot of fun, but I've never done it. It's out of my wheelhouse, but I see other animations online and think, ooh. So there's that. I would like to grow my salon business a little bit more. I was booked beyond belief. Couldn't have ever gotten more clients in. And then I shut my salon down and had a pity party for 2 years. So now that I'm open back up, I have a lot of my favorite clients back in, but I do have some open spaces. So I'm excited to get some more people in there. And I want to maintain the tenacity with which I've been painting.
Ooh, I love that.
For this show, because I've never painted this much in my life. And I've also so thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel gratified. I journal like crazy. That's another thing. I'm just focus on mental health.
Yes, you told me about that. Mental Health Awareness Month. Shout out May.
Yes. The best thing I've ever done for myself is every morning I wake up, except for the last few mornings because I just paint until I fall over. But I wake up and I write 3 pages of stream of consciousness, whatevers. And at about the page and a half point, something comes out. You're like, uh-oh.
What did I do there?
But yeah. So you're kind of forced to deal with maybe some difficult thoughts and underlying issues that aren't fun, but you're better off for it. And
I love that. Well, that's very inspiring with your story and everything, especially with your show coming up. So that's absolutely amazing. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff, serial killers, true crime, Rapist. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill rewatch podcast.
King of the Hill
Yes, sir.
Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good, like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo!
Yeah, Wingo.
Wingo!
Wingo.
All right, well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
And now, back to the episode.
And we're back. So we were just talking about your exciting event happening this Friday at Cultivate 712, and with your beautiful art show and what you're looking forward to most in 2024. One of the questions I love to ask when we come back from break is, what do you love about Waco, and what would you like to see in Waco?
Okay. Ooh, I knew that question was coming, and I also didn't plan for it. So things I'd love to see more of in Waco. So just like, this isn't me being philosophical in any way. This is just like purely off of the top of my brain, like pleasure-seeking interests. There was this cool little cabaret bar somewhere where they used to have like cheese and women on chairs.
Wow. Slave. That's what I need.
I don't remember it was a steakhouse.
Okay.
I don't know where it was. I'd love to have more just fun nonsense.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people miss out on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else? you work, you do stuff, and then have fun.
I love that. And it sounds like there is an amazing community here as well. So
Yeah.
I can see like other people needing that. And it's an outlet, right? And again, it's a creative outlet or expression at least. Or just a moment where you can turn your brain off and go do something.
Right. Give me a glass of wine and some cheese and have somebody swing on a chair. When I was little, they had me come up on the, because the chair was really high up, and it was kind of this, it was almost like a pillow chair. It was
Wow.
scary because you don't feel like you're balanced unless you have core strength and arm muscles that I did not. You are probably going to fall off. But they put me up there on the swing and pushed me back and forth, and it was cute.
I love that.
But yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that, but what a delight.
I love that. And you've been in Waco for a while, so you've been able to see kind of the growth and all the things that are happening.
Yeah.
What has that been like?
I have and I haven't, because I've been here, but I've been pretty aloof for the majority of my life. When I started coming downtown, it was because my friend Fiona Bond,
We love Fiona. Shout out.
everybody knows Fiona, she encouraged me to come to Cultivate to the Undercroft. And I think they just started maybe leasing the space upstairs for
Wow.
Creative Waco, and she said, "You have to come here. You'll these are your people."
Yeah.
And I was incredibly introverted, aside from
You
working in
never.
hair. Is it painfully obvious? But I finally one day, and I was leaning into art at that point,
love
was
that.
like, you know what? I'm gonna go, and went to the Undercroft. There were some fun people down there. Had the time of my life. It's like a glass of whiskey and conversation, and like I don't know. It opened my whole world to this fun, this other
Aw.
way to chase dopamine, I guess, that I
Yeah.
hadn't experienced. So, to answer your question, I had no idea what downtown looked like aside from riding in the car to come see my dad at the Alico building when he worked here.
Yeah. And now we're here today.
And now we're here. And so for me, it's like, yeah, this stuff's all awesome, but I don't know, it was here before.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting. And I think a lot of people feel that way, you know, like there is almost like a disconnect from like the downtown area to like everyday life. Because again, you
Right.
have a job and you have to pay your bills and you have to do what you got to do. And then it's like, oh, and there's other things. So then there's like that
Right.
enrichment area that you have to draw upon. And that's why, again, art is so important, is so they have that enrichment and you have that other
Yes.
space and creating that third space.
Absolutely.
Has that been kind of what you've witnessed throughout your career? Or?
Also, Third Space, shout out to Thirst Coffee.
I
But
love you guys. Andreas.
I lost track of what the question was.
I was just
I
talking
heard
about
third space
the
and my mind
creative
went
space.
blank. Yeah, yeah.
Just like having that outlet. Why do you think that's so
Yeah.
important, especially here in Waco?
I can't imagine life without creativity.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it to feel fulfilled. And so I very much appreciate that there's a community of artists who are seeking to do cool things
Yeah.
together, like life drawing.
I
and
love that.
yeah, this thing that's usually a very solitary endeavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, and you can share your experiences and do cool things like have your first art exhibit at Cultivate. But I don't know. I don't even see creativity as something superfluous so much as
A necessity.
it just has to.
Yeah.
I just have to do it.
I love that. And it sounds like you do have such an amazing community. I know we've already thrown out a few shout outs, but is there anybody else you want to shout out that's helped you along this journey?
Oh goodness, yeah, everybody, all of them.
Just
my
start
mom,
the list now.
My mom's always forever been there and always forever will be, and she could tell you 1,000 ways that she thinks she's ruined my life, and my, she thinks that she's the reason that I am afraid of sudden loud noises, and none of it's true. And she's absolutely amazing. Probably the reason I understand what nurture feels like. My husband James, super duper supportive. Not socially interested in being a part of any of this. But
He is coming on Friday, though. Force him
allegedly.
to. Allegedly.
But
Drag him kicking and screaming.
even though he doesn't want to be a part of it, he encourages me to go be a part of it, and I appreciate that. Our pets, Ernie, Brutus,
love them.
Penelope. Penelope's been with me since I was just a little baby in cosmetology school. I've got a lot of great friends. There's Wendy Michelle Davis. She
love
manages to call me or message me and invite me to something like every time I start to feel like I am not wanting to do anything social. And it pulls me out of it.
Yeah.
Let's see, Carissa and Sean, we've mentioned 10 times. I have a client named Kim Abercrombie, and she is a phenomenal artist.
Shout out Kim.
And I don't see her downtown as much as I see some of the other artists because she is over at Midway High School working her butt off to teach those kids. And I've never seen art come from students that looks so polished
Wow.
and thought through and impressive. Some of my best friends, Armando Ramirez.
Love you, Armando.
We love you, Armando.
Shout out the Drink and Draw.
Oh, Drink and Draw, yeah. Fun guy, phenomenally talented, getting to know him and watching him work and just seeing his understanding of composition, of light and shadow, of, you know, how much can you simplify a shape and make it obvious to the viewer what it is, and at the same time how to make that thing look like 1,000 different things, and kind of shows me like, okay, there's so much more I can know, even though I feel like I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
there's always room for growth. Yeah.
That's amazing. That sounds like an amazing community that's really been brought together through the arts, and here in Waco also to support you.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely beautiful to see. And again, just knowing that you have a support group and there is that community here for others to get involved. I kind of love hearing that, and, you know, just knowing about your story. It's so inspiring, you know, to get to hear that, especially, you know, going from your beginning of your process all the way to now. With that, of course, you do also have your other job.
Yes.
Your main job. So tell me all about that.
Yeah, I've done hair since I was a little baby out of high school. I love it. It's I didn't love it for a very long time, but I grew into it because I was socially uncomfortable. But yeah,
You gotta talk to people.
Yeah,
while you're doing
touching
their hair.
people and talking to them made me just want to crawl into a hole and die for
And
the
that's
first
why you chose it as
decade
your
of my
career.
career.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I thought it through.
Yeah.
I had the foresight as a teenager to say,
Yeah, this is what I would do for the rest of my life.
yeah, but I pushed through it,
I love that.
and I've grown to really love it, and even took a break from it for a little bit and came back and appreciate it even more now.
I love that.
But I have a salon in this cool little space called Uncommon Collective, formerly Alchemy Studios on Lake Air Drive. And I do cuts and colors and talk about life and
All the fun things.
be comfortable and get away from your home or your family or your whatever for a while. And
Or your 12 paintings you're working on for your art.
Yeah, I'll avoid my, I used to have the art studio and the salon together.
Oh,
It was
wow.
kind of a dual purpose space, and it was a really great idea until it just didn't work.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so I very recently took all of my art stuff home and made it a really cozy space I made it more client-centric, and I like
love
it.
that. That's absolutely beautiful. Well, of course, give us where you can find you, find more about you, how can we book you, all the things.
Okay. You can find me at, I guess, on Instagram at Sam Janes Art. I have a website that needs some desperate updating. It's samjanes.com. Not Alchemy Studios, I'm sorry. It's changed. Uncommon Collective on Lake Air Drive. You can find me there. Where else? Just come to my house and
Come and hang out.
knock on the door. My husband's not going to let you in, but you can come knock on the door.
No, but what are you here for? Art?
Yeah, art.
Okay.
I don't let people in here, but yeah, I think that's
amazing.
about it.
And come see your show.
Come see my show. Come see my show on Friday from 6 to 9. It's going to be a lot of fun.
whoop.
I made the playlist, which I don't know, it's exciting to me. And then there will be food and drinks and poetry, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Some prints and some little baby originals
I'm so excited.
available for purchase.
All right, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on again.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
Gosh, thanks for having me. And yes, the Humane Society of Central Texas is going through some changes right now.
Oh, yes. Please shut them out. They need a lot of help.
I think it is.
Negotiations are reopened, as far as I know.
Okay, good.
So-
I wasn't quite sure where we were timeline-wise on all of that, but I will say, as a person who's been deeply involved with the organization but never worked directly for them for any length of time, I've seen a lot of different angles, and I think if the city took over the care of the animals in that establishment, it would be a detriment to those animals. I don't think that there are bad people in the room. I think that there are people with very different priorities in the room. And I think the people who currently operate the nonprofit part of the Humane Society, their hearts are in it for those animals. And I think you need that. It's thankless job. It's emotionally exhausting. It's physically draining. If you don't have people who care the way they care, you're going to have so much more euthanasia. They do a lot of really good work that you don't necessarily see unless you're behind the scenes, and I would hate to see them go.
Yeah.
So whatever you can do, call your local politics.
Yeah.
Call your local politicians.
It's okay. Last week's episode was all about politics.
Oh, good.
So
I don't know a thing about it. I should be better informed, but I'm not. I could throw some names around, but they mean nothing to me. Let them know. Let them know that you care. Let them know that you want the people, that you want somebody who is not monetarily going to gain or lose or have a vested interest in where money gets situated to take care of those little fellas, because they're part of our community too. They don't have voices, but I would say they're a whole lot better than we are most of the time. They're loyal, they're sweet, they're just relentlessly great.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you so much for sharing about that.
Yeah, thanks for letting me.
Yes, of course. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And look forward to an amazing show.
Woo, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.